Välkomna tillbaka, or welcome back, because our next guests will be presenting in English. And I also want to mention the possibility to ask some questions in the Q&A section. So please do that during the presentation so that we can pick them up if we've got time to do so. SAFER, the Vehicle and Traffic Safety Center at Chalmers, has been a vital part of the Lindholmen Science Park since 2006. So they are actually celebrating 15 years this year. And now we will get to know more about how lives can be saved through a road safety collaboration between India and Sweden. Here in the studio, I welcome Magnus Granström from SAFER and John-Fredrik Grönvall from Chalmers. Welcome. Nice to have you here. And for the panel dialogue that will follow, we will be joined online by Sofie Vennersten, Volvo Group, Arati Davis, Sweden-India Business Council, Abhay Mannikar from ARAI, and Ashwarya Agnihotri from TechMahindra. We are very much looking forward to listening to your insights. Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this introduction. And we will just, as Anna was saying, we will talk you through a bit. Why do we have this collaboration? And we want to put this in the context of local, national, and international collaboration. So that's really what we want to focus on today. So the SITIS collaboration that we will talk about today, it has this vision. And why did we actually create it? Why was it done to begin with? Well, this started quite a long time ago. Things move, as you know, and it's part of a bigger program. It's part of a bigger collaboration and agreement between India and Sweden that was actually signed in 2018, where there was a decision to collaborate on certain topics. That's energy, and that's health, that's smart cities and transportation, among others. And then underneath that umbrella, a lot of other discussions were sort of formed and shaped and put together. And I should say led quite a lot by the Volvo Group actually at that time, leading into this collaboration with partners that we had already collaborated with before and some new partners. And what was important at this stage also was that we really saw that we have to have a collaboration between different kinds of partners. So it has to be industry partners, academic partners, so this combination of research and also how do we implement, how do we test, how do we make sure that things actually happen. And you see the vision on the screen, so I will not read that one. So with that brief introduction, I would like to hand over to Arati, please.
Thanks, Magnus. Now, of course, Sweden India Business Council is really happy to be the secretariat for SITIS, which was inaugurated in February 2020 in the presence of both Minister Thomas Eneroth from Sweden and Nitin Gadkari from India. Achieving Vision Zero is top priority on both national agendas, as Magnus has touched upon, and requires innovation, human behavior, and of course, research design and technology solutions, all of which the SITIS members here represent. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Sofie Vennersten from Volvo, one of SITIS industry partners.
Thank you very much, Magnus and Arati, for that introduction. And yes, actually, I just started at the Volvo Group about a month ago. But I'm also joining the SITIS platform now, and for Volvo, safety is, of course, at the core of our business, and we want to contribute with our deep knowledge in this field, and we also want to initiate concrete activities which we believe can increase safety in both India and Sweden, at the same time as it contributes to strengthening our good position that we have both as a company, but also Sweden in general when it comes to road safety. And India is a very important and large market for us, and Volvo Group is presented for over 2 decades in India. But we must also be sure that we are attractive also in the future, and it's therefore very important to understand the local circumstances. So the more data-driven we get in society, the more important it will be to be part of developing the transport system as a whole. It's not only about building safe trucks or buses, but it's the relation to unprotected pedestrians, cyclists, scooters, and with all these more complex traffic environment, that is a big challenge. And we know that to tackle complex societal challenges, we need to work in collaboration on many levels. So cross sectors and industries, but also across countries on an international level. And this, in Sweden, we focus a lot on collaboration. The Lindholmen Open Day is a good example of. And SITIS is an excellent example of how we now do it across Sweden and India. And we must also test and develop things in real environments. And thanks to technology and digitalization, we will be able to develop a lot of safety innovations, for example, around automated systems, vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-infrastructure, communication, and so on. And a very good example of that is a project that we have applied for within the SITIS framework, where we will look at how the development of more connected cities can support connectivity for buses, and how the buses can provide input to traffic management centrals. And it's very good that we can learn from real data sets and that we have stakeholders across the vehicle and aggregated safety field, hospitals, software, IT solutions, with the ability to really build insights within this data. So we hope that what we learn here, we can use in broader contexts in the future. So with that, I would like to hand over to Ashwarya Agnihotri at TechMahindra.
As TechMahindra, which is an IT and a digital solutions company, the core purpose that drives us, not just TechMahindra, but even at a Mahindra group level, is to drive positive change, leveraging technology across the stakeholders and communities we operate and enable them to rise. So, and TechMahindra, which has its roots in India, and we also have a very strong presence in Sweden. We are very grateful to be part of this SITIS and to drive an impactful and positive change. And for the role of TechMahindra in this consortium as a technology partner is to bring in the learnings that we have had implementing technology-led impact solutions across industries in various parts of the world, and bring it for solving a very real problem of road safety in the long run. And as Sophie and all my other panelist members, they mentioned, it's a collaboration between industry, academia, and government institutions. So the learnings are coming from various aspects, from real life examples, and also, the collaboration that it works. It's something that, is driving and change at a policy level. So, grateful to be part of this consortium, and we hope to see a sustainable change in the long term.
Exactly. So please, then we move on to the next speaker, Mr. Mannikar from ARAI. Please give your views.
Good morning to all attendees of this open house. I am thankful to the organizers to have accommodated ARAI as a part of SITIS. And ARAI, as you know, Automotive Research Association of India, is the premier research institute of Government of India. And it is helping Government of India in several policy issues, also implementation of the roadmap and setting the national standards and harmonizing them. That's our main role. So we are working in a pillar of the safe vehicle. Of course, while we're doing that, we understand that the complexity of the road safety is much beyond a single stakeholder. And that's why the collaborations like SITIS, which work with the experts, global experts, Swedish experts, Indian experts, we always think that the experts are a global wealth. So they can always apply themselves for any global problem, and we can solve. We strongly believe that with the collaborative approach, what SITIS is putting, the technology can come to our help, and local data-driven decisions can be made. When India has ambition of building a lot of highways, every day we are building more than few kilometers, 50 kilometers about highways. We should lay them on a sound principle of safety, which is already learned by several countries, hardened, but the solutions are not copy-paste. We do understand that they have to be innovated locally with the common knowledge together, put together. And we are very proud to join SITIS, and we are very happy that the partners working are forming an ecosystem which is just good enough to understand the complexity and come to the solution very quickly to the research solutions. With this, I hand over to the next speaker. I believe Frederick is the next speaker. John-Fredrik is the next speaker, the panelist. thank you very much for inviting us. On behalf of myself and on behalf of ARAI, I would like to thank all the organizers and viewers of this open day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll have a few minutes here and then we'll try again with TechMahindra Ashwarya. So from Chalmers' side, we believe that this idea of having a bilateral project together with Sweden and India that is actually founded on a high level, a governmental level between Sweden and India governments. It's very good that we can form such a platform and collaborate in a triple helix model with both academia, industry, and institutes, etc., and have it in a broader way, both being successful in Sweden and India. Because I think it's not only about knowledge transfer, it's also to learn from each other. In Sweden, the Swedish researchers really need to understand the traffic situation in India, and hopefully we can also transfer some knowledge about the traffic situation in Sweden. So I think that is a very good reason for us to be in this large project.
Good. Thank you very much. We have actually a question coming from the Q&A session. We will catch that towards the end. I would just like to address some specific questions to you here. So to begin with Volvo again, Sofie, please. If you could also sort of elaborate on the way that you work and how do you see the benefits from your setup within the Volvo Group, where you have business both in Sweden and India. How does that help, and how do you benefit both internally, but how can you also support the projects?
Well, I think there are definitely a lot of benefits that we are doing this on both sides. And just to mention a couple of examples, as my colleagues in SITIS here have mentioned, the mutual learning, because we really complement each other. And Sweden has a rich experience in safety, and we've had a lot of progress in the past. But now when we are on a much more mature level, the returns on efforts are of course not going at the same speed, naturally. Whereas India has a strong digital base and a lot of opportunities to use new technologies to really take big steps in the safety arena. So here we really complement each other on both sides, and so we can learn from each other. And India is really a hub for development in the digital solutions, and have leading academia and research institutes, and to combine them with our excellent researchers, John-Fredrik here in Sweden, that is of course also good for us as a company. And then what we learn in India is also representative for many other countries, because India itself has a great diversity across cultures, geographies, etc. So that we can use as a global company in many other arenas. And last, as you also mentioned, John-Fredrik, the involvement of authorities is really key. So we're lucky, and it's very motivating for us that we have a high engagement from authorities and ministries on both sides. That provides really a good ground for this. Shouldn't underestimate that aspect.
Good, thank you very much. Arati, please go ahead with your questions.
Absolutely, I was going to reach out. Actually, Sophie made a really good point that leads into TechMahindra, also based in Sweden and in India. TechMahindra, like Volvo, is the India project lead for the application that we talked about recently. Now, Ash, I'd like to ask you, you've been working in India and in Sweden, and we have this amazing collaboration of 15 different actors coming together with the support of government. What would you see is kind of the critical component of SITIS when we have the government and we have industry, academia, and government agencies? What do you see as the value here for you as TechMahindra, given the work that you're doing?
As you rightly mentioned, Arati and other members from SITIS, the consortium is really unique. You have government, you have industry, you have academia, and everyone has their own strengths. And these are the set of partners who are coming from both sides of the world. So their knowledge, their experience are quite different. So when you put it all together in a mixing pot, what you get is a very effective recipe to solve any kind of solution. And then it can be replicated across the globe by bringing in those local contexts and flavors. So that is what I see as a strength. And even for TechMahindra, we started in India back in the 80s, with British Telecom, and then now we are spread across 90 countries. So these kind of initiatives help us shape, solutions, technology-led solutions, not just for transport industry, but also for some other, sectors like healthcare, life sciences. So this is the, the advantage that we as an organization also learn. And finally, from a long-term sustainable impact, what we see is this SITIS is going to, give benefits not just at the policy level, but also how transport solutions are going to be designed in future. So that is, something that's a real positive, change that we're going to be seeing from this project.
Thanks, Ash. Over to you, Magnus.
Yes, and I think then we would like to ask you, Professor Mannikar, as well. From your perspective then, where do you see the greatest potential? When you went into this collaboration and this project, what were the things that you were really hoping that we will achieve within at least a few years' time?
Yeah, it's a very important question. The basic motivation to join SITIS as ARAI. As I told that we are working very closely with the Government of India on policy matters, and we are laying big infrastructure. While we do it, we should do it sensibly. The infrastructure once laid, undoing is a big difficulty we have seen in past. So to achieve anything potentially on the road safety, on one side, we are tightening the vehicle safety, but the other side, we need a complete ecosystem as such to evolve so that we get the benefits on the road and we achieve our road targets. From that perspective, we think that an ecosystem cannot just simply get without a proper a model in front of you, how to go for a vision zero. It is easily said than if the process of doing it is quite a challenging one. And we think that for a vast country like India, to sensitize the custodians of all safety is a big challenge. And we see that pan-India, this task has to be done is a mammoth task. And we see that the Vision Zero Academy as one of the good motivators in that direction. And it can be simply said by one of the training program we did, which actually got a overwhelming response from pan-India. And it has left a on everybody, on the policymakers and and this was inaugurated at the highest level by the ministry and all His Excellency Ambassador of Sweden to India. So it shows that the sincerity of purpose on both sides, which will turn into the reality for our goal or reducing the fatality in a bigger way. That is what we are thinking in a big way. And yes, on a data-driven decision, second part is accident data is one of the lacking stuff where we would definitely are looking forward for getting good database coming out of such collaborative efforts. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you very much. And we are very, very quickly running towards the end of our time here. So we have to hand over to the next session. But we have a question regarding how to come in contact with the Sweden-India Business Council and sort of how this network works. Arati, would you have 3 seconds?
Sure. SIBC is a member-based organization. You can find our details on sibc.se. And of course, we work with all sizes of companies, startups, scale-ups, and of course, collaborations like SITIS. But do we have time? No, we don't. I was going to ask Magnus, it'd be great to get your perspective from the board, but no.
Sorry. Okay, so thank you very much, all the panelists, and I hope that you who have listened, you got an idea what this is, and please contact SIBC or contact us at Safer Chalmers if you would like to know more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Interesting to listen to this collaboration, and thank you for participating at Lindholmen Open Day.